What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Leo Bridgewater, and welcome to the bird section. Figure I hop on real quick because today has been a wild day, and I'll get to that in a minute. I just want to give you guys some quick updates on what happened in practice today in training camp. Final day of practicing in pads with the joint practices with the Cleveland Browns. And let's call it for what it is. They didn't look good. The offense didn't look good at all. Well, I'm not gonna say at all. For majority of the practice, they didn't really look good. Hurts threw some made some bad passes. Some play, were out. AJ was not playing. Landon Dickerson was not playing, and Lane Johnson wasn't playing. Devontae didn't practice. No, he did. There was a lot of Saquon didn't really practice a whole lot. So there was a lot of things happening, but for the most part, Joe Flacco carved up the secondary. The battle for CB2 between Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo. Adoree was doing most of the reps started off playing with the first team, and then of course Keely came in, and Joe Flacco was carving up everybody. Even Cooper DeJean got beat. He got burnt on a for a touchdown as well. So, um, and y'all know me. Y'all know how I am, especially when it comes to What up, Joe? What's good, man? Uh, I enjoy listening to you. Thanks, bro. I figure I hop on real quick because I just had to been a crazy day. Like I said, I'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to hurry up and just give some real quick updates. Eagles didn't have, our first team defense and offense didn't have too much of a good day today. But like I was saying, y'all know how I am. I'm appreciative of the bad days. If we're gonna have a bad practice, if we're gonna have a bad day at camp, I'd much rather it happen in camp than and in practice than in the actual game. And so I too see the value in the mistakes that are being made and the things that are coachable. Now that being said, my concerns. Sidney Brown is still is actually taking first team reps at safety, opposite of Reed Blankenship, and Andrew Makuba returned to practice, I think, yesterday, and he practiced today. He actually took some reps with the first team, but was mostly on second team defense, playing in the safety position. So just give the rookie some more time to get himself acclimated to doing running and running, get reps. That's all he needs: reps, 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 reps. That being said, I will say that the fact that we are still not very solid in who the cornerback number two will be opposite Quinyon Mitchell. Mac McWilliams is having an excellent camp. He's doing really well, especially with the second team defense playing the DB spot. So don't be surprised if at some point or another he's going to make a bid himself to be the starting cornerback. And if not, if somebody should go down, don't be surprised if you don't see Mac McWilliams playing. Now here's the thing: we're exactly 21 days before week one against the Dallas Cowboys, and we still haven't got our cornerback two position solidified. And I'm okay with that at this point. Now, I'm not going to say I'm not concerned, and I'm not going to say I'm overly concerned, but I am, like, oh, okay. Now here's the thing. What I've come to understand is that number one, wherever our shortcomings are, I can guarantee you the shortcomings at cornerback two, Howie is somewhere in his office with his staff, and they are looking to identify DB2 type talent to bring in as teams let go of talent. Guys hit the waiver wire. So that DB2, that's cornerback two position, may not really be solidified by the time the first week one, you know what I'm saying? But I'm willing to bet, my bottom dollar that there's going to be a few more, one or two more DBs that the Eagles will end up signing when it comes to players that they had already previously scouted that got released from other teams, because teams are going to start cutting down their roster. So I'm not, like, I'm like, okay, this is what I mean by when I talk about activity. So I'm anticipating seeing some sort of activity to address that second cornerback slot, so we'll see. Okay. Again, and Howie we trust. So I know he's probably working the phone. So I'm not even going to bug or trip out. I trust him. Now shout out to Landon Dickerson. My man had his surgical procedure on his meniscus, a repair, you know what I'm saying? And you know what my man did? Homeboy rolled his ass out there on the practice field today. He had the procedure done yesterday. He rolled out to practice today, walked out there with a big ass bag full of cans of beers for the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles and the offensive line for the Cleveland Browns. He shared beers with them, was walking around, and like, okay, like this dude is tough. You know what I'm saying? So just seeing him, interact with guys and him just walking the way he was walking and everything. And mind you, he had a procedure on his knee yesterday. I was like, damn, they don't, that's big. That's what you call country strong. You know what I'm saying? That boy, that's a bad man. Okay. So respect to Landon Dickerson. Again, hoping that you have a speedy recovery. I'm not. I wouldn't be upset if you weren't playing week one, but then playing week two, just because, again, out of abundance of caution. And the reason why I'm so to others, you might think I'm being nonchalant, but I'm just saying, last year the Eagles ranked fourth in offensive line combinations, which is more of a testament about how well we did. Again, we still had a 2,000 yard rusher. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was a beast. Thanks, Joe. You know what I'm saying? We still had a 2,000 yard rusher, a 1,000 yard wide receiver, AJ. You know what I'm saying? And we still went to the Super Bowl and won. And we were ranked we had the fourth most offensive line combination. So again, I'm more or less just like how I'm trusting in Howie, I'm also trusting in Jeff Stoutland when he's putting these guys through Stoutland University. And so I'm sure that we'll be fine if, again, by week one, I'd like to see Landon Dickinson get to as close to 100%. And if it means having to hold them out one more week. And listen, when you look at all the issues that the Dallas Cowboys have going on with their organization, you know what I'm saying, and their players and stuff like that, you know, the chink in their armor is just as significant as the chink in our armor, as folks like to say. Um, and then again, these everything's coachable, fixable. I'm not really worried. And besides, the first team offense was not running any plays or any combinations or anything that you would actually see running the first and during the regular season. So again, just hey, let's see. They maybe was trying to do some things different or whatever. I don't know, but again, I'm fine with it. And I just want to see how this cornerback two position shakes out. And seeing what the battle will be like on with the second safety position between Sidney Brown and hopefully the rookie Andrew Makuba can make a push for that starting position. And if Sidney Brown beats him out, then Sidney deserve that. But I still have my injury concerns when it comes to Sidney Brown because he plays with what we call reckless abandonment. You know what I'm saying? So he'll sacrifice his body to make a big play. So that's just the way he's that type of player. Y'all know y'all know them type of guys. So, with that being said, if you guys noticed the title of this video, this live stream is in memoriam. And so, I need to I want to, let me get a little personal for a minute because which I normally don't do, but today was a pretty rough day, for my family because the family matriarch, my wife's grandmother, who's 93 years old, Caroline Williams, shout out to Mommy Callan, she passed away this afternoon. And so and I'm bringing this up because like when my wife and I got married, 10 years ago, she was one of the first people in my wife's family to really, welcome me with open arms and super, super. When I like, y'all know what y'all know. Y'all all y'all have those relatives or those peoples that you say, that was a good one. Well, y'all, she was a good one. What up, Logan? You know what I'm saying? Mommy Callan was a good one, and I appreciate her welcoming me into the family when my wife and I got married. And some of my fondest memories with her was actually at football games. My wife's little cousin. Thank you, Kevin. My wife's cousin was the team captain at Don Bosco up in North Jersey and Bergen County, and went on to play at West Point, and then transferred to Rutgers. And so I remember going to games with her. And when the Philadelphia Eagles won their very first Super Bowl, I was with her. She was watching the game. We were with her. We were with my wife's family, and we were all, around the TV. It was a whole bunch of people, house full of people. And her birthday and my birthday are about. We're right on top of each other, and so when we had the Super Bowl parties with my wife's family and everything, and they would bring out the birthday cakes. The birthday cake, it would be me and her, and so to have her tell the people that you love how much you love. Yep, I do. You know what I'm saying? I did, Logan. Last time I talked to her, which was probably like a few weeks ago, that was the last thing I said to her. Was like I told her I love her, and she said I love you too. That's it. So, um, but when the Eagles won their first Super Bowl, she was present. She was there. We hugged each other. We were, she was an Eagles fan, and so it just really, I'm really, we're only like, I don't know, 12 hours from her passing away. And I'm already, thanks, Joe, I appreciate you, man. you know 12 hours away from her having passed away, and I'm already missing her. And so it's like, damn. She was someone that I could, she would laugh at the way I would talk football with her and stuff like that. But and she would be in the stands going, let's go. This is the sweetest little thing. You know what I'm saying? And so this this particular video and these updates and stuff like that, I'm actually dedicating it to her, and I'm going to dedicate this season and this next Super Bowl to Mommy Callan. And I love you, and I'm so proud to have known you and had you in my life for the last 10 years. You brought so much joy to me and my and the fact that all a lot of the qualities that I found to be attractive about my wife, she gained those from you, and then watching you, help raise my son Langston. And so I'm really I'm so happy that I had you for the amount of time that I had. And like Mark Holmes always says, tell the ones that you love while you can that you love them, because you never know, you may not be able to. And I've actually taken that advice, and that's why I'm where I'm at right now. And it may seem like it's easy for me to be this way, but it's not. But this video, and I'm dedicating this season to Caroline Williams, 93 years old, Eagles fan, just one of the most kindest, gentlest people you could ever meet. She was no joke. She popped your little ass if she had to, but she was the one who took care of everybody, who taught the kids how to go to the bathroom, who made sure my son knew all his ABCs and how to count before he even started school. So she was very, very sound in those things, and I'm really going to miss you, you know. And I look forward. I hope you're everyone, because there's a lot of people up in heaven waiting on you. So I'm sure you're having a good time. With that being said, you know, um, I'm going to end this video with that, and just say, uh, again, thank you for everything you've done for me, Mommy Callan. And thank you, and shouts out to my wife, babe, I love you. I know you got this, you're doing well. And then shout out to, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and the whole family, the whole Williams family, the whole, Burks family, and so and thank you all for your prayers and your kind words. I know it doesn't seem like it, because you guys are not on the other side of this, but believe me when I tell you, it does mean something, and so I appreciate that. If you can do me a favor, while you're watching this, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the bird section. I want to get these numbers up, y'all. I went over 100. I got over 100 subscribers. Okay. And I told y'all when I break 100, that 112 subscribers I have right now, I'm treating them like it's 1.2 million subscribers. Okay. I'm that kind of happy because it means it's confirmation, for me. And hey, listen, even if you have subscribed just so that you could wallow in my sorrow, as if we lose games or when something embarrassing happens, saying, yes, we will, Logan. Thank you. If you subscribe just so that you could wallow in my if we lose or whatever, then fine. But do me a favor, while you're here and you're watching anytime, hit the like button, and then share this with your friends, like, hey, here go crazy ass Leo talking shit again. You goddamn right. All right. With that being said, I'm not going to keep y'all any longer than I've already have. Thank you so much for coming on to the bird section. Look forward to seeing y'all soon. Peace. This is fun. So much fun.